Respected faculty of today's seminar, CA Prasannakumar sir, Secretary of Kannur branch, CA Prasad sir, Treasurer Dinesh sir, committee members, members of the profession. Today, we are blessed with the presence of one of the leading indirect tax practicing professionals in India, hailing from Chennai. That is none other than our CA Prasannakumar sir. I feel that before I could welcome Prasannakumar sir, it is my duty to thank, because whenever Kannur branch is approaching for any seminar at Kannur, without any hesitation, he is immediately accepting our invitation. So I'm thanking sir for your contribution and support to the Kannur branch and the profession of Chartered Accountancy as a whole. My dear participants, as far as our faculty is concerned, for your information, he is the founder partner of the Chennai-based firm of practicing chartered accountants. His professional specialization is in the field of tax laws, especially the indirect tax laws, with a specific focus on goods and services tax and customs. He is successful indirect tax law counsel appearing for excise, service tax, and custom cases before Honorable Customs, Excise, and Service Tax Appellate Tribunals and Appellate Authorities, and also VAT Appellate Tribunal and GST authorities. As far as the representation to the governments are concerned, hitherto he had directly been instrumental in several excise, VAT, service tax, and GST related developments by interacting with the concerned ministry and bureaucrats. With his professional support in the year 2007, non-star hotels in Tamil Nadu got notification for concessional rate of LPG, establishing their business to be a manufacturing activity. Service Tax Circular Review Committee positively considered in May 2007 his reviews relating to Rent-a-Car operator services and consulting engineers service. All India Omnibus Owners Association took his professional support in its strong representations to Honorable Ministry of Finance, Government of India, and obtained activity-specific abatement by notification number 15 for 2007 dated 4/4/2007. Further on, invitation from TRU, Minister of Finance by June 2009, he represented All India Tourist Bus Owners Association in 2 rounds of submission before the CBSE, Minister of Finance, obtained successfully the exemption setting, right the disparity in taxation for point-to-point bus service operated all over our country with effect from 7/7/2009. In the Finance Act 2011-2, para number 72 have reproduced the version represented by him to give relief right from 1/4/2000 to all point-to-point bus operators throughout India. His suggestion relating to customized compound levy scheme have been acknowledged by Honorable Prime Minister's Office on 24th July 2015 for favorable consideration while implementing Goods and Service Tax Act in India. Section 10 of CGST Act 2007, the related version, partly implementing his suggestion. Recently in January 2018, accepting his representation on contradiction between GST circular and GST notification, the CBSE Minister of Finance, Government of India issued a circular dated 18 January 2008 confirming relief to college mess food joints. He is a professional who delivers lectures in various government forums, including National Academy of Customs, Excise, and Regional Training Institute of Controller and Auditor General, the Government Training Institute for Training Customs, Excise, and Service Tax Officials and Audit Officials, zonal training, etc. He has contributed to various training sessions of public sector units, including ONGC, IOC, BEL, etc. He has handled ICA CP seminar session throughout India of about 45 hours per annum in the past 1 decade. He is an active member in GST study group formed by IDT Committee of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. He has written articles, write-ups relating to tax laws in dailies like Business Line, Excise Law Times, The Industrial Economist, Service Tax Review, Economic Times, etc. He has contributed to few publications and also to academic work goals of the Institute of Chartered Accountants India in respect of representation to central government, technical guide on various indirect tax laws, preparing pre and post budget memorandums, etc. He has given series of interviews and he has participated in tax laws related to discussion on various television programs. He has delivered several lectures on various topics, especially on indirect tax laws in various workshops, seminars, etc. He is a founder member of a few non-profit academic societies focusing on indirect tax law related academic activities as well as social services. Friends, you know the spread and width of our faculty. I'm taking this opportunity to welcome our faculty for this seminar hosted by Kannur branch of SIRC of ICA. I'm taking this opportunity to thank all the members of the profession, all my viewers, and all who supported Kannur branch from the beginning itself. Thanking and I'm welcoming and thank you once again. I'm just informing that tomorrow we have a session on yoga for health. It will be at 8:30 a.m. to 10 o'clock. I request all the members to participate and make it a grand success. And I'm requesting also the Google form will be hosted in the Kannur WhatsApp group. Please fill the Google form which is required for your CPA requirements. Sir, thank you very much. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Learned brothers and sisters, good evening. Whether corona-free world will be possible or not, confusion-free GST on construction industry is certainly possible. There are very few aspects which may, at best I can say, I will not say, which may be classified as potential areas of confusions a little. Otherwise, per se, the law is very reasonably drafted. Some of the clarifications, though did not meet perfectly the requirement, still were able to give implied meaning at least to see that the version is settled. There are some background in which certain modifications have been done, certain clarifications have been given, certain explanations have been inserted time and again or then and there. These are all the things which have made reasonably the position of law clear. But still, if you are coming across in practice some confusing version, what is the reason for that? Why it is happening there is a puzzle indeed, especially in construction industry. This I am referring to not in the very GST days actually, right from the service tax time, VAT time also. This industry unfortunately had always relied upon the peers' word. I don't know, I have seen reasonably all the industries, but to my limited personal experience, I've always seen that the construction industry is much relying upon their hearsay or maybe a peer's version or somebody has told somewhere. Who is that somebody? Nobody knows. So this is what is happening there for a long time, in fact. Now, this is what, to start with, is appearing as such. To start with actually, not the real one actually. There is no confusion at all as such, as it is told. Now, we will just have a quick study in respect of what has happened there from 1/7/2017. Why we should learn what has happened there from 1/7/2017. Unfortunately, even the learned officers of the department are also having a lot of confusion as to the real present version of was contract. Why I say the word real and present version of the was contract. One real version you need to study in depth, you can understand. The present version, why I'm giving a stress is totally different. The concept of was contract, whatever you have learned up to June 2017 is totally irrelevant. Totally, in fact, irrelevant from 1/7/2017. We'll spend very limited time on simple rudiments of this interesting subject. Then we will move on to the core aspects of our discussion actually. No doubt that this is a very serious basis for our entire discussion actually. So even if somebody is missing, maybe I will just see the count whenever I'm just discussing, this count is keeping on increasing the participants count. But let me see, after some time, if needed, without boring you, I'll slightly come back and touch upon this and go back because the newcomer cannot understand unless he attends this first few minutes actually. Okay, now. You can kindly reserve all your questions if you feel, if you are unmuted, if you feel that if you have to intervene, please feel comfortable. Because let us ensure that this discussion, as usual, what is happening there in ICA, we will ensure that this is a very good, serious learning process. That is what we need to ensure actually. Instead of very formally having one-sided oration and later a formal few questions and then wrapping up, may not be serving the purpose. You have got your own serious time invested in this. And when we are coming together as brothers and sisters of the same profession, we need to discuss in depth and try to see that all the views are put across. We have to try to see that the best opinion is taken up. And I will very seriously ensure that the best possible input to you I am giving from my side. Always happily welcoming any kind of different views and second opinions where I will be able to establish sincerely that what I am presenting is having a very serious basis. And of course, there are always two views. It's a different one actually. Anyway, coming to the definition. Section 2, subsection 119, if you take. This is what the real definition now it is there in case of work contract. Work contract, generally what would have been there in our mind for some time back, would have been there in our mind is, there will be involvement of material and labor. So there will be work done on some goods or maybe on immovable property. That is what called as work contract. Will be a general understanding because for decades together we are only. Let us first unlearn that. Let us first unlearn that. The definition is very clearly covering only the works done on any immovable property only. So the GST law is not at all having a work contract concept on movable goods at all. Let's first learn that. Because the definition is not an inclusive definition. Section 2, subsection 119 of CGST law is a definition in specific. It says very clearly that it is relating to any immovable property. You can do any work. Maybe you can do completion, erection, fabrication. You can do building, construction of a building or renovation, alteration. You can do maintenance. You can do commissioning of an immovable property fastened to the earth. Wherein the transfer of property of goods will be involved in that one. So that goods may be in the form of any specific, any kind of item actually. But what is meant here is, it's all on a subject matter, namely immovable property. Non-moving property is different from immovable property. That's the beauty of law, actually. Beauty of law, I will say, or nuisance of law, whatever you want to say. The words are a little risky, actually. You would have already seen certain very interesting case laws. We don't have time to go into all these things in detail. Subject is very bigger, but the word immovable property is clearly referring to something which is normally not movable. Why I am using the word normally not movable? Because you know very well in countries like Korea and China, they have got some kind of good technology to see that an immovable property can be moved for a few meters left side or right side easily, up and down. So that has been identified already. So the concept of immovable property need to be read along with the contemporary meaning basically. So it means that the civil structure constructed and on the earth actually, which is fastened to the earth in a reasonable manner that you cannot move it easily. At least you cannot move it, I will not say, you cannot move it easily. That's how it will be actually. So this is what the definition, what we are having. So rest of the things and also, you can always ask one question, then okay, fine. Let me ask one question. My machine is going to somebody for repair work. Is he doing work contract or not? He is not doing work contract. He is not doing work contract. Either he will do service if predominant nature is service, or he will do supply of material, or both is also possible there in two parts to the same person. So you will get slight doubt and confusion right at this stage actually. The basic itself is not clear how I can believe. Work contract is the one where works is involving material and labor. So it is having material and labor. Again, I told you, I'm just reiterating at the cost of repetition. Once we are very clear about some 6 major points, what I'm discussing the first 7 or 8 minutes maximum, we will be very clear in traveling in this path actually. So first item is this one. Then the second part of the matter what we have to discuss is this. Now, we had a different kind of law for taxing the work contract. Maybe one part VAT, one part service tax, all this had been there. Now you will have a doubt. Sir, I am told that from 1/4/2019, the law has been changed in such a way that There is no ITC, a different rate of 3.75 plus 3.75, that, all these things have come. One notification number 3/2019, another notification 4/2019, and yet another notification called 16/2019, and valuation rule changes. These are all the things I'm told. Why should we learn from 1/7/2017 certain basics? Why should not we skip being a 2-hour discussion wherein already some 15-20 minutes gone? Why should we spend our time on 2017 related matter? The serious problem is this actually, as far as this law is concerned. If you are not clear about the basics and also the history of legal provisions, there will be a clear loss of grip over the subject. That's a problem actually. In any kind of seminar, it is highly advisable. In our institute, we seriously practice that. We always seriously practice that. We clear basically the rudiments duly, and then we get into the core aspects actually. So we cannot be an exception. We'll try to see that very minimum time is spent, or right word is invested, on the basics, and then we can move regarding the current items. So this is it. We will spend very lesser time. We will not, because that's not very directly relevant, but having serious impact on our discussion actually, even on practice also. So there had been tax of 9% plus 9%. You know, we will see GST 9 and the SGST 9 on the construction value. This is what the law it was telling till 31 March 2019, subject to a small exception. I will tell the exception later actually. Then, and once the movable property is there, let me say in Kannur, then that is a place of supply. If it is there in Thiruvananthapuram, then that is a place of supply. If it is there in, let me say, Chennai, then Tamil Nadu is the place of supply. That is a place of supply basically. And what is supposed to be there is the service, so-called supply of was contract will be there in respect of residential complex. Only when there is a process of construction. Once you are completed and the designated authority for this purpose has issued the completion certificate, there is no work by you. What is the question of completion certificate giving any kind of decisive meaning for this one? Very simple. The law is not capable of, I'm talking about this union law. This basically, you know, well, it's a central government's law actually. The central government is not having any power to tax immovable property because it is there in, of course, you know very well, state list. If it is there in state list, land cannot be taxed. A completed immovable property cannot be taxed because these are all the items which are falling in the purview of the state list only, not the central list. But even then, if the law is trying to tax it, where from it gets the power? The law is within its boundary very carefully trying to see that it is taxing only this service. The service is the one which is under this coverage actually. The service is works contract. That works contract is the service which is getting taxed as long as the construction activity is happening. Their activity is taxed. Nobody is trying to tax any immovable property which is getting transferred. Naturally, your state government is having its own sub-register office where from you will be having directions to pay your stamp duty to the state. When you are transferring the property, it's over. There is no problem and there is no difference created in this law at all. This law, as usual, trying to see as an indirect tax law of the central government. A part is relating to state also, that is SGST, is trying to focus on the activity being taxed. At that time, it was 9 plus 9, that means 18%. A forced percentage of deduction, something like your income tax. Say, if under section 24, you are having a standard deduction for house property. That way, it is a standard deduction, that's all. Maybe in case of salary, they are giving on standard deduction of 40,000. Whatever you do, I don't know, 40,000, 50,000, I will give, that's all. That's what they say. In this law also, what will be the real value of land? Law is forcing you to accept 1/3 of the gross collection made by you towards land and building as deduction. That means 2/3 of the gross value shall be liable to tax. And we will have we are all good in numbers actually. Let us be worried about numbers only. Now, 1 crore rupees is the value charged by somebody in Kannur for a residential flat in a residential complex. So if he is trying to, as a developer of the property, if he is trying to sell the property is getting prepared actually, getting built actually. Now what he should do? Let me say the bifurcation as 65 lakh rupees is for the building. For example, I'm saying 35 lakh rupees is towards the UDS of the land. Then how it will be worked out actually? Strictly speaking, 35 lakh rupees is the well-known figure, no doubt about it. But 35 lakh rupees will not be given as a deduction in this law. Deemed one-third figure, that is 33 lakhs, 33,333 rupees is the deemed land value. You can always suppose, saying that I do have a very perfect legal document in my hand, proving that what is the value of land. Why should I accept this? It's true. But for several practical convenience, there are some veto power given to the lawmaker. So whenever power is given there, even if the power is not given there also, the lawmaker will be comfortably using. But once it is given there, you will certainly exercise. So he is trying to say that one-third is the given value for the purpose of this, because valuation rule is referring to and saying that. You can always dispute on the ground of constitutional validity, all these things and all. It's different issue. Let us not go into that at this stage. Later we'll discuss. Now coming back to this one. So this is the same situation even today, that is post 1/4/2019 continuing. But the rate and other things are all different. After 4 slides, I will be discussing about it. We are talking about the rudiments. Now, so what is the effective, what was the effective rate between 1/7/2017 to 30 June 2019? 31/3/2019. This is the period during which what was the rate actually? 9 plus 9 was the rate. One-third was from the value removed. In the given example, 66.66 lakh rupees was taxed at 18%. In other words, what you can do is 12% on straight 1 crore rupees, the gross value. Either of this, both ways same actually. So if you are working out 18% on 66.66 lakhs also, or 12% on the entire 1 crore rupees also, you will be reaching 12 lakh rupees actually. That's what the figure of GST between 1/7/2017 to 31 March 2019. Now, having discussed about that, there had been some serious provisions. There are provisions which are continuing also. For quick recalling, I'm just telling it. Those who are interested seriously about this can take note of it. For others, you can take note as a basic information. There will be some passing note or references regarding this when we are going to discuss after some 5-6 minutes. Now, coming back to this one. There had been some government contract related subcontract issues actually. From 12th January 2018, the law got slightly modified. Under 9954, they brought modifications actually. So subcontractor can also enjoy the main contractor's concessional rate. Basically, what was the main contractor's eligible concessional rate when he is doing construction of or erection of or commissioning or completion, installation, fitting out, all these works relating to the jobs relating to government. Government is a different word. We will discuss in detail. What is government? It's a serious question. There are some serious questions that where is government? That is not our problem actually. What is government is a different question actually. We'll discuss later. Now coming to this one, CGST 6%, SGST 6% was charged in case of specified government constructions, maybe historical monuments, canal, dam, irrigation work, so many archaeological sites, pipeline, all these kinds of, these are all the things listed at the time. So these were eligible for 6+6, a concessional rate at that time. It was there. Now, whether he is a contractor or whether he is a subcontractor to such contractor, that rate were applicable there. What about the government contract? Supply is done to government. Because in other words, I will tell you, somebody is there from Kannur, let me say a civil contractor, taking the contract of Kerala government guest house building, or taking a contract in PW department of a state government, or taking some work relating to, let me say, some government entity, which is one which is fully controlled by the, not less than 90% is controlled by the Kerala government, and appointed IRS officers or IAS officers are sitting there. So what is the situation? Those kind of contracts are covered there separately. That is also eligible for the concessional rate at that time, and exemptions have been given there subject to certain conditions. These are all little old. I'm not going into the detail actually, but this will be referred later. These are all the items. Say in your scheme, you will see the JNN UR mission or RAY, that is Rajiv Awas Yojana, or House for All Urban Mission Yojana, or Prime Minister's Awas Yojana for urban area, economically weaker section, economically middle weaker section, middle income group housing scheme. These are all the schemes. How many schemes are there? These are all special works contract at 12%, 6+6, where there. I'm all telling in past tense section, where there, up to 31/3/31. And these are all still there. Okay. What I'm going to read here is maybe pollution control, effluent treatment related matter, or structure meant for funeral and burial cremation. You can die happily, that they are permitting actually. Okay, so don't worry about it. Very concessional rate only they will be charging. So for burial ground or cremation and all. And building owned by the entity registered under the Income Tax Act used for the purpose of midday meal schemes. That is there. Even off late, they by July 2018, they brought in some other concessions like the old age home where not more than 25,000 rupees per month is collected. And if such old age home, yeah, trust under Income Tax Act section 12 AA, capital AA is there, then if you are rendering service of building a building for them, then you will be having a clear reduced rate subject to certain detailed formalities, even exemptions also they had been giving there actually. So these are all the transactions what we need to know as far as the 12% cases. There few corrections were also made there in case of let me say when something is predominantly for education purpose or maybe clinical hospital purpose or art purpose constructed by the government or state government, union territory or local authority, if it is there, then it will be falling under the case of a 12% special rate actually. So for non-commercial buildings, what they are building it, that is, commercial is a different word actually. Just because government is doing everything is not non-commercial, the purpose matters actually. If they are building a stadium, for example, I'm saying in Kannur, if they are building a tennis court, that's a commercial building. Government, no doubt about it, but it's a commercial building. If they are building, let me say, one public distribution shop or a complex or something like that, then it is not commercial. So that's how we are supposed to understand. Then residential complex for the use of employees or specified persons and all were falling under that same category. From January 25, 2018, this was the rate actually. A special rate of, very special rate of 5% was, even now it is there actually. What was given there from 13th October 2017 actually, where the condition was like this. You should render service to central, state, union territory or local authority. Local authority, you know very well, we'll discuss in detail in the next level. If you do the service to them, and more than 75% of the work what we are doing is predominantly involving earthwork. Just it's not involving a civil structure construction, leveling, bringing in soil and redoing it, or mixing some soils and making the clay made into rough path, something like that. If it is involving that kind of work, predominantly 78% of the value, then you need to pay only 5% in case of such government works. This was a position at that time where it was there, whether it will be covering both the contractor and subcontractor. These are all the simple basics what about which I wanted to spend little time in advance. Before we go with all these references to the real discussion of the present day situation, a word government requires a clear understanding. Instead of me spending time on that one, somebody has already spent time on this from CBIC. So if I'm just referring to that one, I fully concur with the view what they have expressed, which is having serious legal background on the basis of the developments in the law in the past actually. What is the meaning of the word government or local authority is a question. Even you had that case of Agarwal and Hindustan Steels actually. What they are trying to tell is under Article 53(3)(b) of Constitution of India and read together with Article 154(2)(b), an employee of a government will be subordinate of President of India. That will be the meaning actually. So if that is the meaning, whether that itself is establishing this matter as the person is working under a statutory body and that statutory body is a government, can we say, or an autonomous body is there. Just because this coverage is there under Article 53 or Article 154, can we say that such a kind of organization itself is going to be a government? That will not be the case. Government organizations are those who are linked through the treasury operations for expenditure and income, and there is a serious review of the books within the meaning of Article 53 by the C&AG, then such organization, agency, wing shall be called as government. Otherwise, just because government is controlling a company, government is controlling a corporation, government is controlling a legal body, government is controlling a committee, then it will not be falling under. For simple example, we don't have time. For simple example, I will tell you. The 12th schedule of Constitution of India is listing out, read together with Article 269W or 269G in the Constitution, the works to be done by the local authorities. Any work done by the local authority or such a committee, that's what the word is there actually. So what kind of committee it will be there? Maybe urban development agencies are there. Let me say Kannur Urban Development Agency. One agency is the KUDA, for example, I'm just saying. I'm not sure whether you are having it, but is there. Such a committee is doing the work of, let me say, town planning or regularization of buildings, taking care of roads and sanitation as well as the public lighting, maybe in the streets or something. Then they are doing the work of delegated work of the corporation only. So if that is the case, they are falling under the committee meaning. If that is the case, then they will be coming under the local authority or governmental authorities meaning actually. So this is a different and serious subject where if you want to decide, how to decide is a simplest question, having a toughest answer actually. But for easy and practical purpose, sir, I'm a chartered accountant. Let us forget about this law 154, Article 53, 269, 12th schedule, all I don't know. I want a simple idea. We are flawless, straightforward, but not a shortcut actually. Straightforward idea. How I can decide this matter? Take the agreement, sir. The construction agreement, what they are giving, construction agreement or works contract agreement. If the officer from the recipient side is claiming himself that he is representing the governor of the state, or if he is representing the president of India, on behalf of him I am entering into as authorized. If he says executive engineer, chief engineer, territorial engineer, divisional chief manager, something like that will be. But if he is representing the government of India, president of India, or representing the government of Kerala or governor of Kerala, then you can blindly believe that it's a contract with government. If not, you have to do a lot of research, what I had been telling actually. All this research you have to do it. Sometimes we have to spend more than some 2.5 hours to 3 hours to decide that whether it's government or not. We have to do a lot of research actually. So that is a situation. So if pure labor work is carried out by you in respect of single residential unit, then that will be pure labor, no material. If you are involving that, then that will be a nil rated transaction. You will not be liable to pay anything at all. Fine. Now all this what we discussed, that's what I told you, the major 6 or 7 points what we have to definitely bear in our mind for our discussion. Hitherto what we discussed is the basis. Now only we are going to the very serious discussion part of our present day's law actually. Now, if you are having any doubt, I would like to get clarified now itself, because entirely our discussion is depending upon this simple basics actually. So if you have any doubts to be clarified, I will be happy to clarify now, or else you can just send any kind of message or kind of hint that I have to repeat somewhere something. I am ready to do that one. Now I will move to the next one. So coming to this one, what are all the changes from 1/4/2019? C changes. Completely it has been rewritten actually. The notification 3/2019, 4/2019, if you print, it will come to about some 70 plus pages in A4 sheet. Just a notification. And another notification of 280 pages, 18 pages were issued actually. So bigger it is. So that is also there. Now what we need to know is this one. The notification is a different process actually, because everything is computerized, and the notification process is also having its own what I can say nuisance actually instead of nuisance actually. And they refer to in the 4th line, 3rd word shall be read as this. In 6th line, 5th word will be read as that. That's all, finished. So if you put that 4th and this 5th, it is an excellent puzzle actually. Maybe for COVID time and it will be very interesting. If they issue a lot of notification now, it will be of great use for everybody to kill the time actually, because you have a lot of time. So you can just fix this word to that word, rewrite and reframe the words and understand what is been told in law from this one actually. Coming to this one, a new set of provisions have been brought from 1/4/2019. This is what, now I can just draw your attention that today, sir, I will even not be much worried about past, sir, because being a chartered accountant, you cannot skip that at all. But I want to focus only on today's problem. Today, what I should do, that I would like to learn. This is what is. Number 1, for all kind of contracts, that is construction contracts involving REP or RREP. What is this REP? What is this RREP? We have to understand. RREP is residential real estate project within the meaning of RERA. And you have REP, that is real estate project. This is the meaning of, this is the reference what they are giving there in that one. You have to read section 2 ZK of RERA for understanding the meaning. We will discuss in detail when time permission later on. Now coming to this one, we'll easily understand that residential complex for the time being. Residential complex. What is the rate? Please believe me, 3.75% of CGST, 3.75% of SGST on taxable value is applicable. Is what law says. Then you will always have a doubt. No, something wrong, sir. You just check it up. We have all the time heard only this 2.5%, 5%, even for affordable house, 1+1, something they had been telling. You are showing some odd amount at all. We have never heard about it or we are not comfortable with it. This will be the response from accountants and the clients actually. You can always see the numbers 3.75% only in the books of law. Just for easy understanding, we have changed into that 2.5 or 5% for easy understanding actually. How it is coming there within short time, I'll just explain to you. Next line itself. If you are having 3.75 as CGST, but the deemed value of the land is 1/3, naturally what will be the result? 3.75 minus 1.25, it will be ending up 2.5. Then SGST another 2.5. So totally it is 5%. So in the same way, I had been explaining that 9 plus 9. That's why I told that reference to the past will be very easy. Now that's what is easy. So what you can understand is 3.75 plus 3.75 will effectively mean that 2.5 plus 2.5. Either you calculate 3.75 plus 3.75 on the 66.66% of value of total consideration, or straight away 5% on the total consideration for the land and building. You work it out, both are same. Makes no difference. So either of this, officially speaking, how we have to tell is gross value minus 1/3 value, that is the deemed value of land. Then you will be having a value for which you have to do the work. That's all the thing. Now you will always have a question. Sir, if you are having land value, these are all the things you are telling. If you don't have the land value at all, I'm just a builder. Somebody is having his own land, I just go there and work there. We have a detailed discussion for this kind of prime contractor and their subcontractors also after a few minutes. Now we'll first finish this one actually. Then the same conditions. Property should be the one which is not already completed. After completing, there is no point in doing a construction actually. In practice, this is what the problem. Even in court also, when I am arguing also, I am having cases of this kind actually. The judges are not able to get convinced easily on one basic point, especially in South India. The learned judges of the tribunals also are asking a simple question. We want to understand one basic fact. You say that you got a completion certificate from some corporation or local authority on a particular day. Once you have got a certificate, where is the question of you going back again and doing some construction work? Because you are going to register only the sale agreement relating to the land which is converted into sale deed properly. But you don't register at all seriously a building as such. But rather you say that on that day also, that is post completion certificate date also, you go and claim as a construction company that I'm doing a construction. You ask me that kind of pipe. You ask me this kind of marble or marbonate. You ask me that I will supply. I'm doing this one for you. Where is the question of you doing? Very reasonably you have completed. No doubt, a perfect finished work will not be there even on the completion certificate date. No doubt, fine. But a negligible portion only will be left out. But how can you have a so large work to be completed and you can enter into a very contradictory, that too self-contradictory record? You say on one hand that I only made application to the local authority and you got a completion certificate subject to legal process. Either legally they did or not is irrelevant. Legally there was a process. You got a paper. So this is a completion certificate. From this day, it's a completed building reasonably. That is, you can dwell there. That's the meaning of it actually. So if that's the case, where is the question of you starting something from the scratch? Because you sold, let me say, 7th floor property, 7th floor flats. Where is the question of next day coming and saying that in 6th floor I am doing construction? There is a hollow or what inside that 6th floor? So this is a contradiction you can kindly make the clients to avoid actually and tell them clearly, sir, you cannot have two interests. Once you have completed and recorded that matter, you only record. Nobody is forcing on you. You make application, the concerned corporation or somebody is coming there and closing that matter, you are evidencing it. Or in a case where such an authority itself is not there, law is permitting 3 persons to give certificate. One chartered engineer, to the architect within the meaning of Architect Act 1922. Or if engineer is also there, architect is also not there, licensed surveyor for the purpose of this. You go there and get the certificate and say that this building has been completed on so and so date. You only evidence it. You only create it. So having created this, there is no point later to make a somersault and say that this building is not complete, I am still continuing the building. Even if you are writing the words, there should be some kind of careful words to see that you are not meaning to, giving a meaning to refer that basic work itself is done. So you please educate them. Don't see nowadays the law into compartments. This is RARA problem, this is GST problem, this is income tax problem, this is state duty related registration problem. No, gone are those days. You should have a comprehensive knowledge of all these things, or as chartered accountant, when we are saying your client, please listen to us. Simply follow what we are telling. That is the advice you are supposed to give, because without having knowledge of these things, if they create trail, it is very difficult for you to see that you are just destroying the trail and proceeding. Because not in one place, in several places it is widespread. You cannot just destroy just like that. It is already created by him. He has messed up. Whether he missed or missed, finally the chartered accountant is the only person who is going to break his head actually. So, and they are always believing that whatever they want to get that one, that can be done by the chartered accountant. That is a belief actually, always, because to make it a little lighter. Somebody went there to, there was one complex problem. Let me say e to the power of epsilon cos theta by tan theta multiplied by x epsilon, something like that. What is the value of this? Is the question. Somebody went to American University and American told that American first gave a bill, because that is their practice actually. First he gave the bill, cleared the bill, or cleared. Then the academician gave a complete reply and said simply that one, international standard, one, we are not responsible for the reply what we are given. 2, we are not responsible for the information what you have given. 3, we are not responsible for the information what we have understood. 4, we are not responsible for the information what we have understood. 5, we are not responsible for the information what has been understood by any person in future from this. Subject to this, what we are told, we are bound by that. That's all they signed and gave. These people were uncomfortable. Okay, this is not useful. Let us go to China, they went. Even during the COVID time. That is the story. You have to accept, explain. Okay. They went to that. And then they say, hey, sir, this is the question, mathematical problem. Please solve this. The academician of Chinese side also did so many works, this, that, and all, and completed and said. He gave a complete answer. Then these people were a little scared because of the American style. No, they tried to see whether the report is having some annexes or something, saying disclaimer of this, that, all these things. No disclaimer. But in the front page itself, there was one asterisk mark. Beneath it in small letters, it was written there. The entire answer is carefully prepared. Caveat, we have used calculator prepared in China, made in China. That's a caveat. Otherwise, everything is fine, they told. So you have to understand what is the meaning of it. They left that also. This is not workable. Let us go to India, they thought. They came there. They said that, sir, this is the problem. They met in India one very lettered gentleman, but not a mathematician. They said that, sir, this is a problem. What is the problem? Sir, e to the power of epsilon cos theta by tan theta multiplied this is the problem, sir. We have to get the answer. What is this? The gentleman, a grinning faced gentleman, simply asked, fine, what is the answer you need? He asked. Then they asked, oh God, that much confidence. Who are you, sir? I'm a chartered accountant in India, he said. So the message from this is how the world is believing is actually. Anything you have to bring, by magic you have to bring in. So they mess up so many things in business without knowing these things and all, without knowing the basics. Later they come to the chartered accountant and say that this is to be brought in by you. You are a very nice person. Always they say, for income tax they ask doubt to you. For old service tax they ask the doubt to you. For road tax they ask the doubt. For corporation tax they ask the doubt. Whenever they are asking, they say that you are a tax expert, sir. You for any tax you tell. You also very sincerely refer to all the relevant books and tell. The only thing is always you forget to raise the bill. That is a problem actually. But otherwise you tell very sincere replies. Coming back to this matter, in these cases and all, you please advise them that you cannot have compartment-wise decisions on an on this focused point of a certain area only. They are supposed to see that in a holistic manner. They consider all these things. If I get completion certificate, what is the impact on state stamp duty? What is the impact on GST? If I make an application in RERA for the purpose of completion of work in the applicable area, wherever it is applicable, I'm saying, that will get recorded. So once I recorded the completion, then what will be the fate of my ITC, my work, or whatever it is? They should understand and then proceed. Now coming to this one. This is the scheme relating to a different situation as well. The affordable housing scheme is a slightly revolutionary scheme, slightly, not a perfect one, slightly revolutionary scheme. There are certain conditions given there. We'll see those conditions in the next slide. The considered reduced rate is 0.75% of CGST, 0.75% of SGST. That is elected. If you remove the 1/3 land value from this, maybe it will be working out to 0.5 plus 0.5 on gross. So the same story. Either apply 0.75 plus 0.75 on 2/3 value, or apply 0.5% plus 0.5% on whole value, land plus building value. As long as, very important, as long as this is falling under affordable housing scheme properly. What is the affordable housing scheme related conditions? These are all the conditions. So minimum 50% of the total carpet area should be covered under minimum instance. So you can have 100% such a project also possible, not a problem at all. And in case of ongoing project, as on 1/4/2019 morning, as on 1/4/2019, because that is what called as you should have continued from 31/3/2019 or prior to that, and it should be spilling over to April 2019 and subsequent period also. That is what called as an ongoing project. So the developer should have not have opted to go for a old rate scheme. What is old rate? What is the scheme? Within short term, we will see. So that is that. If you are failing to do it, it will be attracting 6% is the story. Otherwise, you can just pay this lowest amount. Now we will understand what is the meaning of this affordable housing unit. How affordable housing unit has been defined for the purpose of this. Read notification 3/2019, dated 29/3/2019. Read together with 4/2019 and 16/2019. So to some extent, you have to refer to Rule 42.3, Rule 42.5 of CGST rules. I'm just summarizing. Let us not go to so many technical matters. I'll just summarize this, what you need. I'll just summarize for easy understanding. Any residential apartment in a particular project, if it is having carpet area up to 60 square meter, 60 square meter, in metropolitan cities, they have given a list: Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta, Mumbai related other outskirts, what they are listed in that one, Hyderabad, and so these are all the places they are listed out actually. So subject to that, if these areas are there under which they are going for this kind of project, 60 square meter will be the total area of the carpet area. And 90 square meter in case of other areas. Maybe Kannur, if you are taking it, you can take 90 square meter there. What is the square meter? 10.7 will be converting it. If you are multiplying 10.73, 10.736 in fact, you will get the square foot actually. What is the square foot if you see this? Maybe 645 square foot, 0.84 square foot in case of metropolitan cities. In case of Kannur and other kind of second tier cities, it will be 968.75 square feet to put that one. So that will be the maximum area within which they have to build each unit involved with that one. Not less than 50% of the total project should be comprising of this is another condition actually in case of ongoing matters. Now, very important condition, always ensure that the amount charged, gross amount charged is not exceeding 45 lakh rupees. Gross amount means what? Any premium what you charge, this vastu, this, that. So many charges are charging, parking charges separately, deposit separately, EB deposit, that deposit, this deposit, so many. Just see gross amount towards land, towards building, towards XYZ anything. If it is not crossing 45 lakh rupees, then you are safely within the scheme actually. If such a scheme you are having it, then you will be ensured that you can charge that so-called 0.75 plus 0.75 on gross on the net amount of taxable value, or you can try to say that on the gross amount you are working out 0.5 plus 0.5 and pay the tax actually. No credit will be allowed. For anybody it is not there, for you in specific also. No ITC is allowed there in these cases actually. This is what the background of affordable housing scheme, especially from 1/4/2019. So what was the situation before 1/4/2019? Such a affordable house was not at all there. Such a scheme was there. I had also read to you the Prime Minister's Yojana, Rajiv Awas Yojana, or the middle income group Awas Yojana, or lower income group Awas Yojana, or economically weaker section unit related matter. These are all there. Their 12% concessional rate and all were given at the time. Now this scheme is trying to slightly give a revolutionary impact on this one, to see that the lowest possible rate they are trying to give actually. A lot of other issues are there, that loss of ITC will increase the cost and all. It's different story. But this is a measure what they have brought it. So if any of your client is interested to go for a contract of this kind, especially post-COVID, due to the different kind of MSME support, this, that and all, if you're trying to plan it, you can try to give this advice. It is still valid actually. Now coming to the basic question, sir, I do a works contract, as you say, maybe 3.75, 3.75, this, that, whatever it is. How to bill? But is it a really a serious question? How to bill is a serious question, is another matter actually. It's very serious. How many of us are able to see our clients, especially in construction industry, raise bill? I'm saying about invoice within the meaning of GST law. Invoice, anybody can prepare in a letterhead. Today received 45 lakh rupees. It is not a bill at all. That is a lawyer's bill. Lawyers will be very comfortably raising one letterhead, unnumbered, no number control, this, that, and all. They will just write and say received so much. That's actually a receipt. It's not an invoice also. Sometimes they don't used to refer the work also in detail actually. Some WP 6585/2018, that's all finished. Which High Court, what this, nothing they will write. So that is how, if you are writing or raising a bill, it is not a bill at all. So as a chartered accountant who may be doing his own GST audit also later, we have a serious responsibility to prevent him from the rigors of section 122 penalty, and read together with the violations of rule 46Q also. You please advise them that, sir, you be anybody. There are very few people given exemption from raising the bill. You have to raise bill. You cannot escape from this, is the advice supposed to be told actually. So in this case, how to raise the bill? Now you go by the very simple norms that we have discussed, is cost figure minus 1/3, you get one figure, and then you apply the tax. That's all thing. You have the normal ingredients, your name, that person's name, your GST number, the invoice number, serial for that one, all the normal things, is the person to sign, whatever it is, you ensure. Sir, we are not having the practice of giving the bill to the customer. Highly advisable to give. If you don't have the practice at all, print and keep it with you. At least when the officer comes, at least he will be happy to see your copy and go out. That's all thing. Why to take risk unnecessarily just for these papers and all? A general penalty of 25,000 in each failure case if you are unnecessarily losing. It's not advisable at all. Now, before we move to the very serious discussion points of other sectors, maybe you do have joint venture. It's a big story we have to discuss in depth actually. Now, we have certain serious short points actually. Free materials are given there. Maybe generally in case of, let me say, commercial buildings, this happens always. Free material, you know, I need not explain. Just taking very lesser time of 20-30 seconds, I can explain. You enter into contract. Let me say Kannur branch is entering into a contract with some contractor. You wanted to build a, let me say, a very big library for you. Then you needed a very big place in your building itself separately, maybe at another floor itself you are building, for example. Then institute is telling that, no, we have got large material purchased there nearby some other banks. For example, I'm saying from Cochin, we are sending it. Already we have got surplus materials. Use these glasses, very nice glasses actually. So don't appoint a contractor who prefers to use his own glass materials. Otherwise, anything he can use. But glasses only we will give. Let him use it. It's all very quality. He said, okay, fine. You are also interested to do that. Fine. Contractor comes. He says his quote is 60 lakh rupees for building it. For example, I'm saying 60 lakh rupees. Now you say, right, fine. I will give you a contract for 60 lakh rupees. Out of that, please note these words actually. Out of that 60 lakh rupees, I will be giving 10 lakh rupees worth glass materials to you. Please use it. I will reduce in your bill. Maybe a running account bill will be set up bills you will give in, you will be deducting. This is what scenario number one. Now you please think about this and tell whether the value of contract to be taxed under GST is 60 lakhs or 50 lakh. I come back again with the facts. 60 lakh rupees is the value what you told. And he also worked out all this BOQ, this, that, plus, minus, all profit and all. 60 lakhs he told. In the 60 lakh rupees contract, you say 10 lakh rupees worth material I will supply. Then if that is the case, balance amount periodically whenever I am supplying, I reduce. Effectively 50 lakh rupees in currency, I will give it to you. You say, what is the value of contract to be subjected to GST is a simple question. What is the value? Right. If this is in this case and all, if the contract is for 60 lakhs only. A part of the consideration, I'm using the word part of the consideration. A part of the consideration you are given by way of material, namely the glasses. For that you are fixing some value, maybe a market value or something, and deducting it. A part is given by you by a proper currency, actually, through bank. So if that is the case, value remains to be 60 lakhs only. But scenario number 2 is different one, which is very interesting, you need to know. In big contracts, especially in big contracts, the free material is not in the exact scope of that person. He need not give it. That will read it. So here also we are writing, sir. No, the words are very interestingly done there actually. Because how you draft it, drafting itself is an art, big art actually. How you are drafting matters a lot actually. If you see two different documents relating to one, scenario number 1, whole contract, part of the material given there. Scenario number 2, contract is 50 lakh rupees, we will give free material, then that will not have any impact on your work at all. It is our material, we are using it. Is a different word. You will still be having a doubt if you have not seen that kind of two different contracts using a very fine text for differentiating. You will still have a doubt, sir, I am not able to understand the difference at all. Anybody knowing this one will simply try to say that he is jumping to the model number 2, what you are telling, and he will be safeguarded from the rigors of the law. What is in it one? Not so. Actually, it is totally different one. How it is, because how you use the language, how you present the matters, it differs actually. How I can say, the same example, maybe any regular audience can always recall what I would already discussed this. Let me say, Raju slapped Saju on his right chin yesterday. It's only a statement. I don't know. Any Raju is there or any Saju is there? I'm very sorry. I'm just using your name. I'm sorry. Just for example. Raju slapped Saju on his right chin yesterday is a statement. Only Raju slapped Saju on his right chin yesterday. Raju only slapped Saju on his right chin yesterday. Raju slapped Saju only on his right chin yesterday. Raju slapped Saju on his right chin only yesterday. Raju slapped Saju on his right chin yesterday only. All the statements what I have told are all having totally different meaning from one to one. Not even one statement is equal to another. Only the word only is jumping from one place to another place. That is what the beauty of language and law together. So how you present it will make a complete difference, and in practice you will be able to see the complete difference between what we are discussing. When we are discussing about the scenario 2, you can always note that in case of Bayana Builders, which is a service tax law, celebrated case, a beautiful case law it is actually. So it had dealt in detail very clearly, especially you have to read that para number 15.1 and 15.2. Excellent one. I will decided by the larger bench actually. In different cases it has been used also. Though it is relating to service tax law, can we use it in GST law is the question, because we are worried about GST. So GST law, can we use it? What was told in Bayana Builders? First, one line, we don't have time. One line I have to tell you. What I told is, free material is not forming part of the service value at all. As the name itself is indicating, free material is outside the scope of the contract. And any incidental use in the premises does not mean that the contractor was bound to do that, is the word told. In other words, it's a self-consumption by the concerned person. There is no kind of transfer involved at all. There is nothing transferred from one person to another person in this case at all, is the word told there. So that is the basis on which they told that the erstwhile Section 67 of Finance Act was clearly excluding this item. So you cannot go beyond the provisions of the law. Even if you refer to valuation rule, always rule cannot override what has been given as a boundary by the Act. It's very simple. What to do if you want to know, read that. How to do if you want to know, read the rule. This is what universal procedure for learning the law. But when the law, that is Act, itself is not telling what to do, there is no question to read the rule, to understand and do research and analysis, to do how to do. What to do has not been told. Don't do this. That is said. I'm not capable of doing this, the law has said. Once the prime law has told, the subsidiary law, namely the rule, cannot be able to override that provisions beyond the boundary given for that one. So this is the background of Bayana Builders. This has been decided by the Delhi larger bench. And very, very beautiful case law. When time permits, for academic interest, please go through it. Wisdom will go to a larger extent, very wider. Now coming to this one, whether it is applicable or not, fortunately, I'm using the word fortunately, circular number 47/21 was issued on June 8, 2018 by CBIC, where they accepted in a different situation. Context is a little different, but perfectly accepted this method actually. The mold and dies are given there by the original equipment manufacturer to the component manufacturer, saying that you can try to use this one and get me the supply material regularly, use this mold, use this die, get me the product, they say. Whose mold or whose die is this? The mold, die, jig, all these things are all belonging to original manufacturer. He is giving to the component manufacturer something like a job work manufacturer, not exactly like a job work manufacturer. He uses material. But what they told is Section 15, subsection 2, subclass B of CGST Act does not permit the value of these mold and dies to be added there because it's a separate transaction. There need not be value added there. In other words, the recipient, namely OEM, has given the material to the supplier, namely the component manufacturer. Supply, namely the material to be given by the component manufacturer, shall not include the free supply, namely mold and die, as value for the purpose of this. In other words, one-liner, free material cannot be included in the value of supply. What need to be established? It should be established that it is a free material. How to establish, as I told you, it involves the niceties of practice wherein you have to write in such a way that this is not your scope at all. This is mine, I additionally giving to you. You are not bound to supply this to me at all. It's mine, you for the time being as a caretaker, you keep it with you. That's all. I need this to be done in a perfect way. To do it in a perfect way, I need you to do this. This is what the summary of what we are telling. We will be spending 2-3 paragraphs only for this, but it will perfectly try to give them meaning. Now coming to this one, all these rates what I told you, 3.75 by 3.75, 0.0575 plus 0.05, these are all there. What kind of input tax credit they can enjoy? Nothing. Really nothing. From 1/4/2019, if you want to know what is the ITC used by somebody subject to minor exceptions, which I already told you, I'll tell in detail. From 1/4/2019, you don't have any residential real estate project or residential real estate project developer promoter who is consuming ITC at all. Okay, fine. If nobody is there to enjoy the ITC at all, what about the closing balance on 31/3/2019? I just told you that from 1/4/2019, nobody is entitled for ITC. Subject to minor exclusion, we will discuss within few minutes. We will discuss. What happened to their closing balance on this one? It's a very interesting, very detailed story. I have tried my level best to shrink into one single slide. Actually, I believe that it will comprehensively give the version, but still, if there is any detailed discussion, we will keep that in our question and answer session also. Feel comfortable. Now, this is the transition time actually. That is the transition time issues of GST law itself is not over now. This is different one. But coming to this one, in this case, the project decision to be taken in this regard is, number one, two kinds of transactions are there. One, the real estate project or residential real estate project is carried out by somebody. Another one is commercial, pure commercial project. Only shops, malls, this kind of shop, departmental stores, building, all these things are done. Under the real estate project or even the residential real estate project, one decision can be, one stream of decision can be, new projects are there, another decision relating to ongoing project on 1/4/2019. That was the situation on 1/4. Even for your audit also, it will be very serious in financial year 2019-20. Even to a greater extent in 18-19 itself, it will be having some serious impact, though you are doing now that one actually. Now coming to this one, the new project, what you are starting from April 2019, new rates, that so-called 3.75, 3.75, I told you, that is applicable there. In this case, the entire new project is not going to give you any ITC at all, prevented, totally prevented. No choice at all. I will pay 18% to you, will you give me ITC? No. I will pay 28% to you, will you give me ITC? No. Builder? Yes. Whether residential estate or real estate? Yes. That's all. 3.75 pay, forget the ITC. There is no option at all for you to select that and do it. I think unfortunate actually, because this is something like unfortunate developments created by the industry itself. The background of this is very funny, in fact, looking to be funny, but very sad actually. Whether it is tragedy or comedy, I don't know. Actually, by 2017, 15/11/2017, hotel industry went to a central government, made a big representation to them that most of us are non-star hotels, even in some cases star hotels of 1-star, 2-star, 3-star categories, do not have a huge purchase from the registered persons only, because you remember 13/10/2017 is the date on which the compulsory reverse charge relating to unregistered person got withdrawn. So there is no compulsion for somebody to go for registered purchase only unless commercial comfort is there for better benefits. The hotel industry went to the central government by the time and said that let us pay some small amount to you as tax flat. We don't want any ITC at all. Please permit. Government was very puzzled actually at that time. The finance minister was very confused. Why these people are asking this way? ITC is a very good beneficial thing only, but why they are asking? Fine, okay. If you are comfortable having your own castings, fine, we don't have any problem at all. If your casting sheet is perfectly comfortable with that, we are also. They announced. They simply said, no options. If these categories of people less than 7,500 rupees accommodation, that stories are there. That is different in that industry. 5% flat. Generally, a bigger star hotel will go for a higher rate of 18% straight away. That is how they framed. Having seen this one, the construction industry was also very impressed unduly and happily accepted a situation where you also impose the same way to us. We don't want ITC. So please remember, if you are telling we don't want ITC, you have to remember whether the condition what this is enjoyed by the hotel industry is there for you also. Then only you should ask for this actually. If not, you will not be able to come out of this problem. What has happened there? The lawmaker, I'm sorry to use the word, very cunningly has brought in a special condition for this industry only. No industry in this country is having this kind of provision where minimum 80%. You have to see that you are purchasing from the registered person. If you are purchasing it, that's fine, okay. Registered person only should supply you the goods. Registered person only should supply you the services. Ensure that 80% of your specified supplies inward are coming from the registered source only. What is wrong in that? Yeah, lawmaker is giving a good advice. What is wrong? No, the problem here is one side, he compels the industry from 1/4/2019 to ensure that they purchase 80% of their material and labor of specified categories from registered persons only. Then what will be the meaning? All inputs reasonably will get accumulated as a cost to you. One side, right? Keep it aside. Come here. On another side, without giving any option to you to take the ITC, a forced rate of 5% is given to you effectively. So what's going to happen there? One side your ITC is going to cost you more. That is going to be debited to the P&L. Another side, 5% is the tax what you can collect. You collect and remit, that's all thing. What I'm asking is, if they are trying to reduce the rate really to help the industry, they would have done in such a way that the rate has been reduced. Cost of the ITC is cost of the ITC, if you are comfortable, or try to see that you take the credit in, you pay 18% also, or even 12% also, whatever it is. But that is not the case. The industry, I know, and for the reason not known to me, I happily accepted that situation. So this is the situation you are seeing now from April 2019 in this industry. A forced rate of 5% flat on gross amount, or in other words, 3.75 plus 3.75 as a case may be, is there in this no ITC. Next, in case of ongoing project, what is the meaning of ongoing project? You should have dug at least a small pit before 31st March 2019 midnight 12 o'clock. At least the process should be there. It should have been done. Something should have been done there in the project. Secondly, at least one installment money of the customer should have come to the bank account of yours. The customer, the flat buyer gives money. That money should have been deposited in your bank, on or before 31st March, and it should have been credited in your bank account. This is second. You should have done the process by opting to see that you are going for this. So if these are all there, the law is believing that yes, it is an ongoing project. If such an ongoing project is there, in such ongoing project, if you want to follow the old rate, what a old rate, paying 18%, that 9% plus 9%, subject to 1/3 forced value of the land. I told that story. That can be there if you want. They gave one annexer 4, Roman 4, Roman 4. On or before May 10, 2019, extended time 15 days, another thing they gave. You should opt, the manual letter should be given there to the local superintendent to tell them that I am interested to follow only the old rate with ITC. If you say, then you could have followed the old rate from 1/4/2019, even today, if it is continuing. If you don't want that, you need not do anything at all by default. Automatically new rate will get applicable. That's the law. So on 1/4/2009, the crossroad, you have two paths for ongoing project. One, new rate, by default it comes on you. Two, opting to old rate with ITC. When you opt by annexer 4, referred there in 11/2017 notification amended, there you will be eligible to continue the old rate with ITC only for the specified project. Now you have a question, sir, one of my clients has opted this one for old rate, but for another project he has missed to tell it. Is it okay? Nothing wrong in it. It is a project-wise selection only. On 1/4/2019, if you would like to have project A under old rate scheme and project B under new rate scheme, again project C under old rate scheme, it's up to you. Only thing is, if you want old rate, you should have given the option letter. Manual letter only, there is no electronic format at the time at all. So on those 1/4/2019 to that 25/5/2019, that extended time of 45-50 days time, if you are given that and properly got acknowledged, you could have been there in the old rate even today relating to those projects. What about the new project? You go to the left end of this one. New project, no discussions. Any project afresh starting from April 2019 is certainly a case where you are supposed to strictly follow new rate. New rate means no ITC at all. In case of commercial projects, whatever we are discussing are all relating to residential project RREP or REP. Where I told that I will make a small differentiation between RREP and REP. I told this is the time now to tell about that. REP is having the meaning of section 2 given in RERA, where it's talking about building or constructing even the old building getting newly erected by you or additionally building. All these structural additions referred there, which involves apartments. That is the word that they are telling. It involves apartments. Generally is a very dangerous word actually, but that's what I have to use here. Generally, whenever the law is saying that apartment is the word, for apartments they are not giving a very detailed definition. You have to go by the common meaning of that one in the legal lexicon or maybe in the regular dictionaries actually. So apartment is the one which is referring to an isolated unit
where you can dwell or do any commercial activity, whatever it is, but you can dwell generally. That is what it's referring to. It's a standalone unit, full-fledged unit for anything and everything, maybe for food or maybe for stay or maybe for any purpose. Preliminary requirement are all there already. That is what called as apartments. What about commercial? Generally, again I'm using the word carefully, generally the commercial units will not be on a standalone basis an apartment, generally. Why I say? One shop is there, let me say. The shop is not having everything inside that one. Maybe for some facilities you need to go out actually. You will not have kitchen, first of all, late. And maybe now modern days commercial building is having some small pantry or something, that is different one, but you will not have that one. So the word apartment is used there in the RERA. That is what referred. You can always ask one question, sir, we are discussing about GST law. Why are you often going to RERA and referring? I'm not referring. I'm not referring at all. I'm forced to refer because 3/2019 is talking about that only. 4/2019 notification is talking about that only. Some of the rules like 42, 43 and all talking about that only. Reference is going directly to that. Straight away borrowed. The meaning of this, please refer section 2, subsection ZK of that. That's what it is. Carpet area, if you are asking carpet area, it has been defined there in section 2, subsection K of RERA. Please refer that. That's what law says. So we have no options. We have to refer that only. Coming back to this one, during the transition time also, the commercial projects are remain to be commercial projects only even today. It is going separately. There are two schools, school of thoughts actually. These two schools of thoughts are telling that one is saying that apartment is a word which is referring to commercial also. I'm not able to subscribe. Louder thinking can be there, but I'm not able to. If you read very seriously the provisions of RERA, you will feel comfortable to see that REP, real estate project referred in RERA, is not covering the commercial buildings at all. You can easily understand. A cinema theater, a shopping mall, or a departmental store, or even a compartmentalized shops involved a big store, a commercial store, a multi-story building is definitely not covered by the definition REP at all under RERA. I'm very well convinced. So if that is the case, this rate is not prescribed. The last line, residual line, is saying that any projects other than above mentioned, 18%, 9 plus 9, continuing even now. So in other words, for commercial projects, all the time 18% was there. It is continuing now also. So what they should have done, would have done in those cases and all, till you have not got your completion certificate for a commercial project, happily enjoy the ITC. The moment you got your completion certificate for a particular project, try to see that you identify the project related ITC, if any unused by you, just please reverse it. If you don't have any ITC at all, already you have consumed reasonably, it's over, fine. There is a detailed formula given in notification 16/2019. You have to spend a lot of time on that one if you have to discuss about it. But if you do personally one time, you will spend very lesser time. That's very interesting actually. It will be looking very lengthy. As if our final consultation of financial statement problem. It's nothing so actually. Nowadays it has become very fun for us actually, when all of us can easily recall our CA final days. CFS is a very serious question. Now it is a left-hand job for us actually, nothing serious. But that is how it is. If somebody is teaching at the beginning stage, it will be looking very big. When you practice that, it's very simple. I can give very serious confidence to you. You try. It's a simple problem. They say TE, TC, TX, F1, F2, F3. Very simple. They try to simply tell only one thing. Proportionate unused value of ITC relating to the value of unsold portion of the property. That's all this. If you are having 10,000 square feet of commercial building, if you consume, let me say, 10 crore rupees of ITC, if you have taken 10 crore rupees of ITC, in a case where you are able to successfully sell 8,500 square foot of commercial building, what you have completed, unfortunately 1,500 square foot of building you are not able to get booked by any person till completion certificate or first occupancy, then you can always believe that 15%, that is 1,500 by 10,000, is the impact on the ITC taken by you. That's all the thing. This what I'm telling in words, in several numbers, effectively they are trying to tell. That's all. Otherwise, there is no. If you read it, you will be able to easily get convinced about this point easily. Then, The unique RCM is in this case only, as I was explaining to you. Throughout India, the only industry, just because being in that industry, if somebody is paying RCM, see, rendering a service, receiving a service is different one. For that reason, you are paying RCM. See, if you are consuming a service of a lawyer, if you are consuming a service of a foreigner by importing the service, if you are consuming a service of, let me say, one individual or partnership firm security services from your side as a registered person, if you are consuming a GTA service, they are and all as a consumer of recipient of a particular service, you pay. But only in this construction industry, just because you are a developer, you are liable to pay RCM when you are dealing with somebody who is not registered. So what kind of law it is, what kind of provisions are there? Please educate your clients in time, because if you give this advice belatedly to them, they will feel very much uncomfortable. See, you can always ask your one question. Your mind wise, I'm able to hear. Though you are not asked, I can know very well. Or even if I'm telling he is not understanding something, that's good. Even if you tell, if he doesn't understand, it's perfectly okay. If you don't tell only, that's a big problem. He will cry a lot as if he is very regularly following whatever you are telling. So better to see that you tell the advance in time. What is advice in time to be given in time? See, if somebody is a developer of real estate project or residential real estate project, what is this real estate project? I already explained. Residential real estate project is nothing seriously different actually. Maximum 15% commercial area, balance is residential area in a particular one single complex. Then it is a residential REP. REP is all REP. That's all residential projects are coming under that one. No problem. Now coming to this one, if somebody is doing a construction work of this, the condition for him is, as I told, he should definitely ensure 80% of the specified materials, specified labors are purchased by him from the registered sources only, GST registered vendors only. This is the only industry in which this condition is there. Please educate your clients who are there in this industry. What is the meaning of that? What is the issue involved in that one? See, salary will not be counted in the expenditure. So first you will ask one question, sir, 80% of the expenditure. That's what in very beautiful different words and all you are telling. From my accountant's language, it's very simple. In my P&L, of the expenditures, 80% of the expenditure should come from registered source. This is what you come to say. Fine, okay. 80% if you say, I will debit salaries and wages also. Will it come under that? As long as salary paid to employees is counted, it will not be falling under this category. Again, you will ask me a question, sir, why are you giving unnecessary stress for the word employees? Please understand, in this industry, they account wages when they pay to a contractor. It's not wages at all, you know very well. If it is really wages, they should be in their role, who the so-called wage earning workers. So, if they should pay ESI, they should pay PF if any, or try to establish in any manner by a legal record that the employee's payment is what coming under the wages. Another person's employee will not be your employee. So, what is the need for establishing employee-employee relationship? Very simple, you know very well. When employer-employee relationship is there and salary is paid, then that is not a supply of goods, that is not a supply of service. I am not saying it is a negative, Schedule 3 is saying. Schedule 3, which is part of the law itself. So, that will not come. Any exempted item will not come under this. Because this 100%, if it is involving any exempted item, exempted from the GST, that will not come under that discount at all. So, you can leave that also. Petrol, diesel and all are not taxable at all under the GST. That won't come under this. So, that you can also, you can remove. Any book entry will not come there. What book entry? Depreciation, amortization, or any kind of expenditure writing up over a period, if subject to certain cases. If these things are there, that won't be coming under this list actually. Then what else will come? Pure material, maybe cement, blue metals, maybe any kind of iron rod, steel, all what they are purchasing, glass, all will come there. Then cement, all these things and all. In addition, the labors will be coming there. So many labors are there, tiling work, tilling work, centering, engaging, plastering, so many things they are doing. So those kind of subcontractors and all will be falling under the category of labor services accepted by them. If totally together, whatever I have listed recently now, the material and this labor counted of this 100%, the one what I told as cement, labor, this and all, of this 100%, minimum 80% if you are insured, then you are safe. That should come only from the registered person, the purchases. Next question. Sir, you told that 80% I should purchase from the registered person only. If I don't do, what will happen? This is a very typical Indian question. See, sir, wear a helmet, sir. It is safe for you. If I'm not wearing, what will happen, sir? Sir, Corona time, please don't go out of home. Please stay safe, stay home. Sir, if I go out, what will happen? Sir, this is one way. Please don't go by this way. Sir, if I go, what will happen? This is last date. Please file it. Sir, if I'm not filing, what will happen? This is a standard Indian question. You have to know this answer, or else head will break into 100 pieces. So coming to this one, the developer will definitely ask you, sir, I understand, very timely advice, thank you. 80% of the material I should purchase definitely from the registered persons. Yes, thank you. Sorry, I cannot purchase so. I can purchase only 60%. What will happen? First, what you have to understand is, in case of a shortage, involving a part of cement also, if the list is there, you have to see it's a very serious work. Much of time is going to be spent on that actually. We, the Chartered Accountant fraternity, have not taken serious care or let me say a little concern about the time involved in doing this very serious exercise in case of construction companies. A very big work it is actually. Material wise, we have to understand very clearly where is the shortage. In case of item involving cement, if unfortunately, generally it's not there, but unfortunately cement accounted, but bill is reading a non-GST person as supplier. Very rare, but if it is there, 28% RCM is subtracted. Immediate response from you will be, so what, sir? 28% I pay, I will take credit. Where you will take credit? Where you will take credit? It is prevented. You are not having any permission to take ITC in respect of a construction work in these days at all. In the past 15 months, from April 2019, nobody can take credit. So no ITC for you. It's a cost. Again, sir, 60% only is complying with, not 80%. The balance 20% is there. No, will flat 18% it will attract. Whenever it is involving cement, to the extent of cement, 28%. Balance amount of shortage is 18%. I will tell you a simple example. 80% wanted to be complied with, did not comply. Your clients did not understand, you did not comply with. Of this, the shortage, let me say 60% only complied with. Balance 20% is a shortage. In this 20% shortage, if cement is also having a shortage of 11%, first 11% cement, 28% finished, pay, forget, with interest. 9% is the balancing figure. That is what other services, other goods, 18% flat. That's how it will be. Now, you will be having a question that, can we go for a compound levy? Compound levy is not suitable for this at all. This is basically a service, but the service referred there in section 2A, which is effective from 1/1/2020 by Finance Act number 2 law introduced. That is not suitable for this at all. That 50 lakh rupees, 6%. So considering the other things and all, work contractor will not go for this at all. So all this time you talked about somebody who is a person who is doing the land come building sales. That is what you told that this is there. I am a person who is purely a construction company for commercial complex. What should I do? You know very well, already discussed. 9% plus 9% is your rate. Enjoy your ITC. Before you get your completion certificate, please ensure that everything is booked. You are safe. If not, proportionate amount relating to unsold, unbooked area, I'm using the word area, but unbooked portion will be costing you reversal of ITC. That's advice. Then again, I am a subcontractor, sir. The main contractor is carrying out affordable housing scheme. He asked me to do the subcontractor work. I am doing that. Is there any special rate for me? Yes, special rate is there. You just need to pay 12%. You can enjoy ITC also. I repeat again. Affordable housing project is carried out by main contractor. You are a subcontractor. If you are a subcontractor to a main contractor carrying out affordable housing project, what is your rate? 6 plus 6, 12% with ITC. Even today it is continuing. Right. Are you prevented from taking ITC? As I told you, in case of a pure RREP, residential real estate project, or in case of REP, real estate project under the meaning of RERA, if you are falling under that, you are not at all permitted to take any ITC. If you are a was contractor doing only the commercial construction, if you are a subcontractor to the affordable housing scheme, then as I told you, you are having the rates given to you respectively 18% and 12%. You can enjoy ITC in these cases comfortably, right? Then the last and very serious topic in the entire country, not only in Kannur or not only in any place. Even without asking you, I'm saying that is very serious topic actually, because a lot of mistakes and misunderstandings are there in this one. A lot of, in some cases, shockingly, some of our brothers have done wrongly, which will not be a common scenario at all. Our professional brothers and sisters are very serious. I always seen it's a closed door discussion. I'm confident to tell this matter to you that we can do well in this kind of matters and all. Let us try to learn seriously these matters, because the advice given by some of our professional brothers and sisters, which I come across in some of the cases, I have a lot of good friends in advocate professions also. So in some of the cases, we could see little shocking instances where our brothers and sisters have given wrong advices actually. So let us try to understand this simple but very serious topic actually, how it is to be carried out. Let us understand the basics of joint development agreement. Joint development agreement. You know very well, two parties are there. One character called as landowner. Law is reading that as, referring him as landowner promoter. Then a developer. Law is reading his name as developer promoter. Okay, let us for easy understanding use the word landowner, developer. Right. Landowner is having some land. Developer is coming to him and asking that, give me the land development right. What as compensation you need, I will pay you by giving you the building once I built. A specified number of flats with so and so square foot area, I will give it to you. The rest of the flats and lands are for me. I will sell, take the risk of holding it and selling. I will enjoy the money. This is the entire understanding. In other words, the well-known scenario for easy understanding, I'm just giving here. See, in a case where in Kannur main road, you had one property. You are the landowner. You are not chartered owner now for a time being. You own a land worth 1 crore rupees. Tiny value, sir. 1 crore rupees is not a big value. Let me say, well, you will say 4 crore rupees worth value. Okay, right. 4 crore rupees, nobody is believing at all. You own 4 crore rupees worth land in Kannur, I say. None of us, our face is reflecting anything seriously. 4 crore rupees land and all, we are not bothered. So please own some big land and building. So coming back to this one, you own 4 crore rupees land in Kannur, okay, in a main place. I am a giant development interested developer. I come to you and say that, sir, you retain 1/4 of your land with you. You retain because it's your land. I am planning in this entire land worth 4 crore rupees, a perfect structure. Let me say that 40 flats I'm going to build. I'm having a plan, 40 flats I'm going to build. You take 10 flats where you want, first floor, second floor, third floor, whatever it is, I'll give you, right? So 10 flats for you, and let me say that about a larger area of 3 crore rupees worth land you just give to my control. I'm going to sell in my name. You have to permit me. I'm going to sell and earn the money of that actually. So let me say that 30 flats I will hold. This is what I'm proposing. So in this situation, what I am giving and what you are giving, as a landowner, you are forsaking your right relating to 3/4 of the land, retaining 1/4 of the undivided share of land with you. What I am trying to get from you and I am trying to lose to you. I'm gaining 3/4 of the land related right given by you. I'm not using the word land also. Land related right given to you. In addition, this 1/4 land related development also you're giving. That's incidental. Then I'm able to get a revenue of 30 flats to be sold by me, but I'm supposed to lose 10 flats constructed by me to you. So my cost is 10 flats. My revenue is 30 flats plus 3 crore worth land. Your cost is 1 crore worth land you retain, 3 crore worth land you lose. In other words, losing 3 crore rupees worth land, you are gaining 10 flats. This is your equation. In any commercial equation, sir, let's simply understand. We are going to discuss a very interesting case wherein Vasanta Green Gardens, very interesting case of Hyderabad actually. Hyderabad sister, very interesting decision. The learned judges, members M.E. Ravindran and M.M. have given an excellent decision. We'll discuss about it within short time. Now coming to this one, in this setup, what is happening there? See, I lose some number. I'm saying that as a landowner, what you are using, I'm saying some numbers and all. Here, from the developer side, I'm saying that I'm earning something, I'm losing something. Whatever it is. I'm a developer. I'm a businessman. How I decide the number of flats to you? Sometimes I'm saying that I will give you free money. Sometimes I will say that for the 1.5 years during which you are dislocated, I will pay rent. Isn't it? Sometimes certain equations are not workable. You are saying that, okay, over and above this, a small money you pay me to the landowner in some cases. Landowner should pay little money to the. What is the basis of this giving, taking, partly giving, paying the rent? What is the basis of this? Simple, sir. I lose something, equally I gain something from you. So, logic is very simple. If not, I'm not properly compensated by the third persons, you compensate me. It's a second situation. But in any case, as a developer, I try to ensure that I get profit in an overall holistic picture when I see. That's all the thing. This is what first is supposed to be understood. Now, if you understand this, you will be able to understand what we are going to discuss. Para 9 and Para 12 of decision of Vasanta Green Projects versus Commissioner of Central Tax Rangareddy GST Commissionerate. Beautiful decision. When time permits, please spend your valuable time on this. Beautiful judgment. Only about some 16 paragraph will be there. Reasonably well written, well speaking decision. What is the importance of that? What is the message we are getting it? They simply, in para number 7, the learned judge will say, joint development agreement and joint development arrangement in this country is not a rocket science to understand. Very simply will write. If at all somebody is saying that the builder is losing a little money because of the arrangement and offers given by him to the landowner, certainly that money is loaded in the third party's price. That's all. Nothing more than that. If that's the case, what the judge is observing is, as long as they are paying tax for the third party buyers, for the third party buyers flat, then naturally the ends of law is met properly, the ends of justice is met properly, they are complied with the law. In other words, for landowner portion, there is no tax at all. That's the meaning of what they told. Unfortunately, this case is relating to service tax, not relating to GST. It is just yet to be tested. If any person is having a very sound knowledge of business, he can certainly go against this provisions of GST also and get a decision of the same kind because logic is same. Leaving that as such, let us not go into the legal part. First, let us understand the simple basics for the purpose of implementing the provisions of the law. Now, there was a notification 4/2018. Why I'm using the word was is now it has slightly got reduced its value. The notification 4/2018 told that, I'm using the word told that, in case of joint development agreement, if the landowner is an unregistered person, that transfer what he is making as to the development rights, transfer of development rights should be valued and please remember, and paid by the developer. See, in all angles, the developer is left and right smashed. If he is entering into agreement with unregistered land, generally landowner will be unregistered only. There may be some individual or group of individuals. The registered developer should be registered only. No, he cannot be unregistered. The registered developer enters into landowners agreement with the landowner, the agreement of joint development. 4/2018, notification issued in January 2018, 25th day is reading, for such a transaction, there involves a transfer of development right. It is true. What the landowner says, I am giving you the right to develop this land. That's what he says. If he is telling that one, and you are accepting that one, then there is a transfer of development right. The transfer of development right is a service rendered by the landowner to that developer, but the receiving developer is the person responsible for paying the tax on that 18%. This is what the law says. Okay, it was a law. What was the provision relating to registered person? If the landowner is a registered person at the time, from January 2018 to 31/3/2019, and in some cases, I'll tell some exception later also, it shall be the person, the landowner shall collect, like a chartered accountant registered person collecting the tax, the registered landowner shall collect the tax from the developer, 18%. For what? For giving the transfer of development right. Now, first question from your side will be, sir, transfer of development right you are saying. What is the value of transfer of development right? Where it is told, how it is decided. Transfer of development right, we understand. How to value it? The interesting point is, there is no straight guidance for this at all. Law is not clearly telling this is how you have to value. But how you can value is, there are given several values and decisions are given. See, for the purpose of this, what you need to do is, refer to para 1 capital A of notification 11/2017, which is linked to para 3, actually, main para 3. What it tries to say is, in case of transfer of development rights, try to compare the benefit given for that. What is the benefit? The benefit is nothing but the built building what you are getting, built flats, completed flats what you are getting. He is trying to see the value of that flats proposed at the time of entering into development right. First question from your side again will be, sir, I am not convinced. When we are entering into joint development agreement, nothing will be there to compare. What do you want me to compare? Somebody, you say that any person which is a third party person or arm's length price, you compare, you say, okay, I am ready to compare. Where is that? What is nearest to that? Maybe the first flat. When you are getting booked, at that time you can understand arm's length price for third person. That is what the value this person is getting, they say. This is where the complexity is involved. It is involving a very deep study of costing and preparation of document well in advance. Again, I am telling, the involved trouble is very underrated by everybody, including professionals, unfortunately. To a greater extent by the traders, that is by the businessman in this case. A very serious, well-conceived idea should be brought into effect in the records in such a way to see that it is supporting later. Right from the gone are those days where they come to chartered accountant after completing everything. They have to have learned people like you during the time of drafting itself, at the time of proposing the project itself. You cannot be, what I can say, an avoidable person in their decision-making process at all. You, a chartered accountant, should travel with them in right from the beginning in all the stages of their work, actually, especially in construction industry, in all GST matters, but especially in this one. Why I'm saying is, for the purpose of valuing this, you need to have a lot of planning, which is going to be booked, how you are going to plan, who is going to pay the rights and all. I was talking about all these things relating to 2018, 19, 1920 related matter continuing from the old project. Later I will talk about the new project. Who has to pay this? I already told you, landowner, if registered, he has to collect and pay in the old cases. Whereas if the landowner is not registered, developer will pay the reverse charge. When he has to pay at the time of getting this completion certificate or at the time of trying to see this, development agreement is getting registered. This, whichever is earlier, they will tell, it will go there. Then, if this is the case of whatever development rights are happened there and all. If I'm entering into joint development agreement right recently, let me say from April 2019, what is the position? These are all old provision. I don't want to read. Fine. From April 2019, what is the position? Will be the question. From April 2019, the interesting part is first, no landowner will pay. Whether it is registered landowner or unregistered landowner is not a question at all. First, we need to understand that landowner will not pay, right? Developer will pay, again, right? How much he will pay, when he will pay is a question. As far as this matter is concerned, if completion certificate and first occupancy is taken seriously into consideration, you will know very well how much big tax planning and all can be done seriously. Huge cost. Why I am coming to say this, you understand this matter very easily. In a case where joint development agreement entered on or after 1/4/2019, as a developer you have reverse charge, but that reverse charge will become zero when you have got all your flats booked before the date of completion certificate or before the date of first occupancy. In other words, you wait till all your flats are booked and go for a completion certificate to the possible extent or to the extent your business is permitting you. That's what I can say, right? In other words, the entire, that's what I already told you. You cannot on an isolated basis like islands take decision on a compartmentalized basis actually. One decision for RERA, one decision for state stamp duty, one decision for income tax, one decision for GST. No. It's very seriously interconnected. One decision under one law will seriously have effect on another, especially in GST. Especially in GST. Any decision a businessman taking from one perspective of his business cannot be decided on an isolated basis because it has got serious impact on GST. GST will have serious implication. Now coming back to this one. Sir, I have all flats fortunately booked on or before completion certificate date or on or before the first occupancy date. So I am very happy. If I am not having that comfort or fortune, what will be my fate? None of my flats booked, sir, before the date of completion certificate, before the date of first occupancy. Or few only got booked, few did not get booked. What to do? Proportionately, you will be liable to pay. That's a simple formula given there. You need to work out that one. How many number of flats divided by flats booked divided by total number of flats. Then you will be working out this figure. Proportionately, you will be liable to pay reverse charge. So, as a developer, if your flats are not booked well in time, you will be having a worry that you will be in trouble. If it is already booked before the completion date, you are very safe. So, in that sense, this is a unique provision. So, as you could note, a developer of REP, real estate project involving pure residential flats, RREP, real estate project generally involving residential flats, maximum 15% construction area are denoted to commercial projects. Whatever you are doing it, you have trouble number one, the TDR. You are the person going to bear, especially from April 2019, you are the person to bear. So you will not be liable to pay that when all the flats involved in that one, apartments involved in that one got booked before the date of completion certificate or before the date of first occupancy. This is number one. Number two, unique kind of RCM. No industry, by the nature of industry, is getting the RCM. Only this industry is getting reverse charge. If you purchase less than 80% of the goods, specified goods and services from any unregistered source, you are in serious trouble. Please note it. Try to see that you are complying with the law or your cost will further increase. You have to pay out of your package. This is second blow. Then the third one is you have to do valuation of flats given by your from your side to the landowner, and you have to pay the tax for that one. There are cases which are supporting in service tax law, as I told you, Vasanta green projects, all that fine. But in GST law, it should be tested at. So if you are a very benign and pious assessee or taxpayer, you need to work out what is the value of the nearest time, pay that value for that one. See, for example, for third party, I am collecting construction cost of 35 lakh rupees per flat. I am giving 3 flats to the landowner as agreed. what should be the value of that? 3 into 35 lakh rupees, that's all. What you are, at the related time you are giving to the nearest time you are giving to that that flat to the landowner. You just work it out, pay the tax on that one. Sir, he is not giving what I do. You are the supplier. You are the supplier. If the landowner is not giving, you are not going to be exonerated. Or in any case, being a supplier, you only will be liable. You need to pay. This is second group. Then the third one is, as I was talking about in detail, the valuation problem relating to this is also there. So if you take into consideration these issues seriously and accordingly give advice to your clients who are there in this industry, it will be highly advisable. There are several tiny points are also there, but these are all place specific or geographically there are certain differences are there. Maybe in certain metropolitan areas I have to talk in detail about certain things. Those things I have just tried to skip expediently, assuming on my own, presuming on my own that may not be relevant to the given situation, what you are facing in practice there at Kannur actually. Okay. Now, if you are having any questions relating to what we have discussed, we'll be happy to reply to you. Any repeat if I have to do, or any further clarification I have to do, I'll be very happy to share with you. Any questions?
Thank you very much, sir. Nice presentation on the topic.
Nice.
And definitely, it's a confusion-free, consistent industry. Definitely, people have enjoyed the same. And I am a little bit confused how you have completed the entire, or you have traveled the entire provisions of this concession industry within these 2 hours. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your nice presentation.
Nice of you, sir.
First, for participants, if any questions, please interact with the faculty.
Yes.
Sir, in the chat box, 2-3 questions are there.
Which one, sir?
The chat box. I will read out, sir. I will read.
Ah.
One question is, can a
Yes.
builder claim ITC by transferring landlord share of flats before obtaining occupancy certificate?
Ah.
Can a builder claim ITC by transferring landlord share of flats before obtaining occupancy certificate?
See, the builder's provision is very clear, sir. As I told you and insisted also, the builder has got no chance to take ITC from April 2019 at all. There is no provision at all for him. The rate is very clearly preventing from any ITC. ITC is totally denied. See, even if you plan in any manner also, the question is saying that can the builder take the ITC by transferring in advance, later, this, that, and all. The question is, if you permit me to modify the question, whether landowner can take ITC if you ask, other way around. That I can tell, because that's a very theoretical possibility is there, wherein landowner at the time of joint development agreement get assurance for certain number of flats. In the given example of mine, 10 flats. Immediately he is in a hurry always. That fellow is not waiting at all. The landowner immediately jumps before the building gets completed and he gets the key. Partly the building is getting built. He runs to the market and tries to get some buyers for him. Now he becomes a person who is doing the promoter's work. That is what landowner promoter. So when he is collecting money from the so-called real buyers, he will charge GST. This person, the landowner, he is permitted to take credit in respect of what he is paying to the owner. I just make it again clarified. Instead of a building owner, the landowner, a person having 10 flats in his hand allocated for him, is having the right to wait and get the 10 keys once it is completed. In hurried manner, before they get completed, it's all in process. He runs to the market, takes buyers for his own 10 flats going to be allocated to him. If he gets money from them with GST, he should collect GST, collect it from the real buyers. In turn, he can take ITC, the landowner can take ITC of what is charged by the real construction developer. That is possible. But the developer per se is prevented blindly from any ITC in his business, any ITC, whatever ITC it is, especially from 1/4/2019, no ITC permitted. In any chance, whatever combination permission we try, no ITC for this man, because he is a developer as such. But what they are trying to do, maybe even the queries is also asking the same, I believe. What they're trying to do is, we will make you a construction company. You are not giving the land to us. we will try to say that you are only a construction company. You do only construction only. If that is the case, can we try to bring another? You are trying to convert a developer with all pain to a work contractor doing construction work. But you know very well, whatever you try, a developer registered under RERA in all the relevant cases or applicable cases is maintaining his status as developer only, never can be downgraded to work contractor merely by papers, because he takes responsibility for approval, he takes responsibility for any construction work related matter, he is taking the position as to the representative for this construction work carried out for all legal purpose. So difficult to make a developer into work contractor. Subject to that, if you are able to make a person pure work contractor coming to do only construction work only, then you can think about ITC. Otherwise, any other combination of transferring in advance, later, this and all is not going to give you a better benefit actually. Okay. Right.
Sir, another question is, in case of residential REP, should we compulsorily reverse its reverse ITC appearing through 3D? If yes, is it under ineligible ITC under section 17 post 5 or others?
Okay. That is, you are talking about the recipient actually, right? Yeah. Fine. See, the question is from the query is, I am a person who is trying to build my own building in my own land actually. I appointed a contractor, maybe a commercial building contractor, for example, I'm saying. So he came there and built me a building, big building for me, right? And he charged me a fat 18% GST also on me. 1 crore rupees is the value of building, 18 lakh rupees he charged. I am a recipient of the service. I have debited 1 crore rupees of fixed asset, namely the building, in my financial statement. The 18 lakh rupees I want to take as ITC. Can I take ITC whether it is prevented under section 17? Is the first question. Sir, is the question is correct?
Yeah, yes.
Right. In this case, what you need to note is section 17 is having its own power to prevent. As he is giving, he is like God. He will give and he will take also, as he says. So lawmaker is a person under section 17 prevents certain credits. Very foremost query for against this one is, the lawmaker prevents any kind of credit relating to completed flats or construction process actually. Then what he is permitting? Any repair works he is permitting. In other words, in our language, for balance sheet related matter, what you are capitalizing, you don't have credit at all. It should be just added in the cost of the fixed asset. For P&L related matter, repair buildings, repair construction works, if you are having, which you are not capitalizing, that is giving you credit. So this is what law says. But one more caveat I will tell. In Orissa High Court, it has been held in case of a Kalyan Mandap, marriage jewelry. They have held that the building owner's intention is to earn money from the letting out of this so-called marriage jewelry. If the building is built only with an intention to let out, then we don't see any rationale in section 17 to prevent the credit relating to construction of the building. It is meant only for letting out. So the building is going to be let out. To get the capacity to let out, you should first get the building. To get the building, you should get the service of a construction company. The construction company is charging. So allow the credit is the version. The matter went to the Supreme Court, got numbered. It should have been heard on 26th March on an urgent basis. But due to this COVID, this and all, got skipped. So we need to wait for a while. We need to get some more information regarding this. But the plain text of law clearly prevents the credit relating to building which is sitting in your fixed assets. But the law is permitting at the same time the debits what you are making in P&L, namely repair building, repair maintenance and all, you can take credit. Only thing is, you have to ensure that you take credit and you don't charge the P&L also. That should not be there. Only one thing. Either claim it as an expenditure in the P&L also, or entire credit you take that, enjoy that in the financial. That's fine. You cannot take both. You treat it as an expenditure also and you take the IDs also, cannot be the case. Right? Fine.
So another one is, what is the rate of GST to be charged under forward charge by builder for 1% rated RREP on unsold flats of landlord, on unsold flats of the landlord?
Right, sir. The same rate, sir. Same rate. See, the question, any other question? Have I? That's the question. Right.
That's the question, sir.
Right. See, you could have noted from the queries that, sir, I am in the joint development agreement, I am a person selling the land and building for the third parties. For third parties, I don't have any problem. I sell land, I sell building. As you told, the grass value, I know, 3.75, 3.75, one third, all story is fine. But for landowner, I don't sell any land at all because he is written, he is part of land. I am doing only construction and handing over the completed flats to you. What is the rate of GST to be charged by me, a REP or RREP developer, to my own landowner who is just waiting for the flats to be handed over to him? What is the rate? Is a question. Same rate of 3.75, 3.75 only. Sir, this is unfair. 3.75, 3.75 you told for others, third party. Then you gave a deduction of 1/3 for the land. For this kind of landowner, there is no land at all transferred by me. I am just trying to see that only the value of the flat. It's very unfortunate. Somebody should question that. But law is very clear. See, I am talking about rightness or what I am saying, correctness of the law or not. It reads very clearly what it wants to tell. It reads very clearly that for the services rendered by a construction company, the rate is 3.75. That's all. If at all, if it is involving any kind of, let me say, the value of land, you can go for a blind deduction of 1/3. The second school of thought, it's little rough path actually. What I told is over. My answer is over. But if you are little litigant, if you want to fight and question the lawmaker, what is the provision, sir? You can just try to say that. See, your law is trying to give exoneration of 1/3 portion on blind basis to third parties. Just because I'm not having a land in a particular case, the rate what you told is not applicable suitably for me at all. So it's not fair at all. So let me try to put a value, let me try to fit the value. On that value, I'm ready to pay the tax. Is the version you can present. But as I told you, smooth path is blind comparison to the nearest arm length price of a third party buyer, applying in this case 3.75, 3.75 story over. Is what normal. If, for example, how you can value this one? See, for third party, 1 crore rupees land, 1 crore rupees total value, 35 lakh rupees land value, 65 lakh rupees flat value. If that is the case, take the 66 lakh rupees for the landowner because no land, because only flat value is considered. Take the 66 lakh rupees of building value, multiply by 3.75 plus 3.75, pay the tax and close the store. This is normal, harmless, straight path. If you want to dispute, you can say that I won't accept. It's a lengthy path. Depends upon how far you are interested in taking the legal course, right? So this is how it is. Rate is same, very clear.
So another question: in case of PWD contractor, whether the contract amount received can be taken as inclusive of GST and pay tax accordingly.
See, in the contract itself, they are very clearly saying that one, the tax, if any, including GST, shall be applicable in addition, is one word they are saying, standard word they are saying. In other cases, the consideration mentioned in so and so paragraph, say for example 11th paragraph, something like that, is inclusive of all taxes prevailing under this time till the contract is completed. That is another word also, that both are there. The case where you have a separate provision, in other words, it is permitting over and above the base price of the tax levy. In those cases, you are supposed to go by your invoice, what is the invoice value and what is the tax. You have to work it out. But in a case where they tell blindly that the price is inclusive of all, then any money what you are receiving on the basis of money coming to you, you just go for a come tax working permitted by law and you can pay the tax. That this is how it is, and you can just support with the invoice copy related to that also. You can do it. Third question, third part also, scenario, which might not have been asked by you, I would like to add is, you raise some other invoice. See, some 25 lakh rupees invoice plus GST you are raised. That case are putting some green circles on here and there and all, deciding that 18 lakh rupees is the value cleared for this purpose. And then they clear 18 lakh rupees plus GST or whatever it is, as the case may be. Now here only you kindly advise the client in these matters, whenever you are raised invoice for 25 lakh rupees, and unfortunately if the time of certification by PWD is longer, unfortunately you are liable to pay for 25 lakh rupees only the GST. But you will be very unhappy. Within short time of 3-4 months, if you are getting this so-called 18 lakh rupees green circled invoice copy to you, that this is what the clearance figure, then for 7 lakh rupees, please issue credit note and reduce your liability. This is the practically possible way. This is the only way you can try to do. The last option, which you are, if you are having influence with the PWD officers, if some good friends are there to you, then there is a procedure to go for statement of works. First, to apply for statement of works certified by them. If you are having influence, in normal cases you don't get this. If you are a very big contractor and respected by the department, then you give a statement of works which is not an invoice, it's a statement. You apply that 25 lakh rupees is my work. They certify putting all these around 18 lakh rupees only. That day, that minute itself, you quickly prepare a bill for 18 lakh rupees, give it, get cleared in the desk to the desk to the next desk, clear it for 18 lakh rupees, pay, happily come out. You did not lose anything. This is another. In this 4 things, where how you are fitting, you can accordingly do it. Right?
Sir, 2 more questions.
Yes, please. Please. Yes,
recently, government's TDS, both under IT and GST, seem to be based on invoice value. This practice is gradually getting corrected going forward by stipulating tax position in the estimate document. In the meantime, what is your advice in dealing with this difference between our client's GST return and 26IS, as well as the client's GST returns and GSTR 7A?
Good question, sir. See, both from the regular statutory audit angle and also from the angle of GST audit, as you rightly say, the risk is increasing more and more nowadays. Yeah, and one more problem what we are facing is some of us are having the responsibility of filing the client's return also, the monthly return sometimes. That is also taken up by some of our brothers and sisters in these cases. So in this case and all, the first thing what we may kindly ensure is all need to be in writing first. Let us see, enforced by habit that they are only taking in writing. Our advice are we take the information from them in writing. Number 2, we cannot in an isolated basis work for GST only. If we are doing the work of GST, please ask for the data from income tax angle also. Because as you say, 26AS is giving a lot of surprises and shocks actually. Much often it happens. And sometimes the client himself is very innocent. He is saying that I did not expect this at all. Suddenly they gave a credit, I am not aware, they say. Then the third thing is, please educate them seriously about the importance of the serial number control of the invoices. In fact, we are feeling in some cases, I have to honestly confess in this matter, we the chartered accountants in some cases to tell the importance and seriousness of the invoice number control. Because if the invoice number control is missed by them or missed by them, when we are compromising on there, that is a problem. See, what I can suggest you simply is, for the purpose of GSTR1, educate and bring in the culture to the clients and their environment. You have to on a monthly basis give us the invoice serial number starting and invoice number closing, credit note number starting and closing, debit note number starting and closing, refund voucher number starting and closing. Enforce this for a while, 2-3 months. What is done for 2-3 months becomes a practice. That's all the thing. We wear mask for 3 months. After 3 months time, I believe that by mistake we will go out even after corona also with mask only. This is what is going to happen. So if for 2-3 months, if you are enforcing that in practice, that you give the invoice number serial and educate them if they are filing the returns. Please, sir, your return GSTR is GSTR1 filed without invoice number serial control. You are filing the credit notes and debit notes without this. You cannot file this. They will levy penalty on you if you say. That will come into control. One side 26AS, another side invoice number series, another side a regular accounting what they are doing it for the purpose of referring to a monthly basis. If all put together with sound business knowledge, we can just try to see that this menace is coming down. Please educate their clients that there is no point in wasting their money and effort with somebody who is not professionally qualified. Nowadays, filing the GST return and responding to GST queries is not the work of an unqualified person at all. Gone are those days. It's only the qualified CA, well trained on respect of GST. GST return filing is not only a clerical job. It's not possible for normal people. Those who are studied well, because anybody can file returns. That is different one. Wrong return can be filed by anybody. A right return can be filed only by a qualified CA like you and me, not by other section. They should be trained. Please educate the clients and the accountants of the clients that this is very serious. Accordingly, let them understand. Right? Yes, sir.
Sir, one more question.
Please.
Many situations, government and government or local body entrust certain contract work in rural area to some self group, usually composed of 20 to 30 poor rural people formed for mutual benefits. So, what would be the GST impact on such contract if the value exceeds 20 lakhs in a year?
Okay. Actually, who is rendering the service, sir? What is the capacity, sir? Whether they are a body of individual, whether they are an association of person, who are they actually?
It will be an association of person.
Association of person, okay. And they don't have any registration and all, actually.
Nothing. Because this is a rural area, some samiti or some association will be created and that association will take care of the entire work. Maybe
I see, okay. And the building is built and given to whom, sir, actually? They build,
okay. It is a contract work undertaken on behalf of the local panchayat or some local body.
Okay, fine.
This group they will create a group and this group will take the panchayat work.
Fine.
This is nothing but an association of person, I think.
Okay, fine. All right, okay. No, as you say, if it is involving only the individual human beings as members, then we will treat it as a body of individual. And I believe that there will be some authorized person, maybe a leader, president, somebody representing the entire group of people, isn't it, sir? So that authorized signatory will be the head representing the so-called body of individual, and there is no specific exemption for this kind of work, sir. But rather, under the 12/2017, for local authorities, for doing their work, see, you know very well, local authorities under the 11th schedule are having their own work to be conducted by them. The sanitization, irrigation, related supports, water supply for people, public lighting, and road laying for internal usage of this one, approach road maintenance, maybe primary health support for this one. These are all the things, more than some 19 type of services listed in the Constitution of India, 11th schedule. If these people are supporting for those, then there is no problem at all. But I understand from you that they are trying to build some building, culverts, and some kind of things at all. Unless you are covered for that kind of structure in specific, maybe a dam, canal, culvert and all, you are not having any exemption for that so-called a small group of individuals who are supporting the local authorities. And especially, as you rightly pointed out, if it is crossing 20 lakh rupees, still that's risky actually. Rather, they can plan in such a way that nobody is crossing 20 lakh rupees and they can split the team into small pieces. If they are having some 10% team, a 3-member team for one contract of less than 18 lakh rupees, another 3-member team for less than 18 lakh or 19 lakh rupees for another. That way they can try to escape the rigor of the registration and taxation. If not, only the 12/2017 is giving the exoneration for specified activity, not for per se this work actually. For the activity what they are doing, it should be done by local authority. If you do, you are exempted. If it is authorized, that's how it is actually. So that way you can plan. That's better actually, right?
So the last question, sir.
Yes, please.
Whether builder can claim ITC on commercial flats of his share sold under construction.
A builder is selling his own shares. Okay.
Whether builder can claim ITC on the commercial flats of his share sold under construction.
Yes, sir. Construction of commercial building is having flat rate of 18% continuing there without being disturbed by the new rates. And all the time before 2019 April also, after April 2019 also, they are enjoying the ITC comfortably, not a problem at all. So in that case, in that sense, they are continuing to claim the credit and continuing to do this one. That's what I was even telling, that there is a school of thought which is saying that the word commercial construction reasonably covered by the definition section 2 subsection ZK of RERA, where it is defining about the real estate projects. But I am of the firm opinion, sincere opinion, that that definition is not covering the commercial construction structures at all, for one simple reason, that is referring to only apartments. But in a commercial construction, you don't have the system of apartments, which is a self-contained units actually. That is not the case actually. So that is falling under the other cases one, other commercial constructions. That is what the word is there in the 11/2017 7th item actually. So if that is the case, this is falling under 9+9% only. 9+9% case is not having any hindrance about the ITC. So whenever the builder is building his share to commercial construction related matters, he can go on. But kindly keep track of one matter. RREP is still there under the 3.75, 3.75 without ITC category. RREP, you know very well, residential real estate project. Residential real estate project may comprise maximum of 15% of its area for commercial one. In simple language, one single composite structure having 15% of commercial building in that one. If that commercial building portion is belonging to the developer, and if the developer is trying to sell, he still suffers that no ITC problem only. I am talking about a commercial construction project separately, where 100% is commercial project only. Out of that, he is having his own share. That share he is trying to sell to third person. That time I'm saying that ITC is not at all a problem. It's comfortable. RREP is totally different from 100% commercial construction project. That I would like to highlight. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Nice.
We have taken your extra half an hour from you.
Pleasure.
And thank you very much for your the entire presentation.
Thank you.
And I'm requesting all the members, please be there tomorrow morning at 8:30 for the yoga for health.
Yes.
And now I'm inviting my friend, the chartered accountant, Prasannakumar, to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Chairman, for giving me the task to deliver the vote of thanks. Respected Chairman, C.A. Jayaprakash, Speaker of the Day, C.A. Prasannakumar, sir, senior members and professional colleagues, I, on behalf of Kannur branch of SIRC of ICA, express my sincere gratitude to Prasannakumar, sir, who delivered one of the complicated topic in GST, that is taxability of construction industry. When we requested him to deliver the speech, he readily accepted our invitation. We thank you, sir, for your wonderful presentation. Thank you, sir. I also thank all the members who are present here for today's CP meeting. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good answer.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.